I now reconvene to the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 6 p.m. with Blair, Cruz, Gagne, Schaefer, and now present. Before we begin, please silence all electronic devices. These proceedings are recorded and may capture images and sounds of those present. Pat?
The board met in closed session from 4:55 p.m. to 5:46 p.m. regarding conference with legal counsel, existing and anticipated litigation, student discipline matters, conference with labor negotiators, ACT and CSCA, public employee discipline dismissal release, and public employee performance evaluation superintendent. The board voted to accept the settlement agreement and general release between the district and classified employee 4999. Pursuant to the terms of the agreement, classified employee 4999 will resign effective December 30th, 2019 by a vote of 5-0 with Cruz, Gagne, Blair, Schaefer, and Na voting yes. No further action was taken, which requires public disclosure.
Thank you. Leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Curtis from CSA Leadership.
Please stand, place your right hand over your hearts. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are now at comments from our student representative, Audrey.
Good evening, President Na, Superintendent Enfield, board members, cabinet, and community members. For my SAC report, next Wednesday, the 13th, is World Kindness Day. All schools across the district will be launching the Kindness and Inclusivity campaign created by the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. We are excited to participate in this district-wide event to announce our campaign. Our next SAC meeting will be in December, where we will plan out our future themes and continue with meeting our goals. Now for the school reports. At Don Lugo High School, Don Lugo won the milk can rivalry game against Chino by 15-4 in a close match. The event had a huge turnout, and school spirit on both sides were really wonderful. This week is their rally week leading up to their Coco-themed rally tomorrow, based off of the Disney animated film Coco. Monday's dress-up day was Crazy Socks Day, Tuesday was Don Lugo Goes Disney, Wednesday was Twin Day, and today was Remember We Red, Wear Red Day. Tomorrow will be Coco Go Loco Lugo and Wear Lugo Spirit, and varsity football has their first round of CIF against Burbank on Friday at 7 p.m., which is a home game. Chino High School. Chino High School has started their Pennies for Patients fundraiser, which raises money for pediatric cancer patients and life-changing research. Also, this Saturday, Chino Boys Soccer and Cheer is having their car show fundraiser, where there will be food, vendors, and raffles, as well as the cars will be shown. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and tickets are $25 at the door. Lastly, Chino Cowboy Country scored a win for the most spirited student section in Southern California at the Milk Can Rivalry game, and they were featured in the OC Register. Now for Chino Hills High School. Chino Hills ASB is currently preparing for an upcoming rally, which will be space-themed. Theater is also putting on their play, The Rock of Ages, which will premiere next week. Varsity football has their first CIF game against Mayfair on Friday. It is an away game, so there will be free Rooter buses for ASB cardholders. And girls varsity cross country won their 5th straight baseline league title, so congratulations to them. And now for my school, Ayala High School. For the first time in Ayala history, our varsity football team went undefeated with a 10-0 season, so congrats Bulldogs. And we are extremely excited for our first CIF game against Los Osos, which will be a home game. It will be a red-out game, and the first 200 students who show up wearing red will receive free pizza. This week was Kindness Week at Ayala, put on by our USV Renaissance class. Our tagline was Inclusivity Blossoms in a World of Kindness. On Monday, each student was given a kindness bracelet that said Be Kind, along with a kindness gram. Tuesday, we wore yellow and received name tags to encourage students to say hello to one another and make new friends. Wednesday, we wore floral, and our homerooms competed in a door decorating contest following the Kindness Blooms theme. And today, we focused on inspirational quotes and kindness quotes, and tomorrow, we will be having a lunchtime activity, and the dress-up theme is the 70s. That wraps up my report, and if anyone has any questions about events going on at the high schools, I would highly encourage you to follow all of their accounts on Instagram. It has helped me compile these reports, and the information is always up to date. Don Lugo's is Don Lugo High, Chino's is Chino High School Cowboys, Chino Hills is Chino Hills ASB, and Ayala is Ayala Bulldog News. Thank you and have a great rest of your evening.
Yeah, great report, and we have a proud father watching with a smile, so thank you for your attendance. Thank you. Now, Brenda Walker, ACT President. No report. Daniel Hernandez from CSA. The Curtis again, okay.
Good evening, President Na, board members, Superintendent Enfield, Cabinet, and community. My name is Curtis Dean. I am the treasurer of Chino Chapter 102. I'm also the chair of the scholarship committee. Last May, we had a car show where we used the funds to supply scholarships to children and kids in the district. It was open to students and students of members of the chapter. During the car show, we were able to get about $2,700 to give scholarships, and we're here to hand those out today.
Wow.
I'd like to thank the car show committee for their hard work. I'd also like to thank, we have Alan Lee of the car show, Sean Alvarez, that's a member of the car show committee, and Yvette Bookout. And of the scholarship committee, we have Brooke Gilliam. And that's it. Alan Lee is also on the scholarship committee. Sorry about that, I'm not trying to give you too much time. Okay. As far as scholarships go, we have one going to the student by the name of Stephanie Bashi, and her mom Katya will be collecting that for her. We have Bethany Parker, and she'll be collecting that for herself. Yvette Bookout will be collecting Trinity Lizarago's scholarship. We have Bob and Maggie Woosley collecting theirs for Daryl, their son Daryl.
Wow.
And the last is Adrian Rodriguez, but there is no one here to collect that. We'll see that he gets this. We had our car show was held at the adult school last May, and we're hoping to have one again in May this year. I would like to encourage all the students to please apply. When we had the applications, none of the students directly applied. So I would really like to see some, hopefully we can get that done. Thank you for your time. You guys have a wonderful night.
Thank you. And we have Barbara Bearden for Champ tonight.
Good evening, President Na, Dr. Enfield, Board, Cabinet. It's so nice to be here this evening. On behalf of CHAMP, I wanted to remind all administrators that the AXA Administrator of the Year Awards applications are available now. We are encouraging people to either apply or nominate somebody for an award. The applications are due January 17th, 2020. I'd also like to take this opportunity to recognize Dr. Cabrera. On September 23rd, 2019, she received the Champions for Character Award during the 16th Annual Jim Staunton Champions for Character Awards Banquet hosted by the California Interscholastic Federation of Southern California. Additionally, Don Lugo Sr. Sean Boscovich was nominated by Dr. Cabrera and won for the Student Athlete category. The Champions for Character Award celebrates student athletes, coaches, administrators, and schools who represent excellent sportsmanship and outstanding character while personifying the 6 CIF pillars of character: trustworthiness, responsibility, respect, fairness, caring, and citizenship. So CHAMP congratulates Dr. Cabrera and Sean for being such great examples for others. Additionally, several schools yesterday found out that from Maggie Button that we would be receiving Chromebooks, and we wanted to take an opportunity to thank Maggie Button and the technology department and Chino Valley. And I think I can speak on behalf of Anna Borba's principal, Butterfields, Cal Aero, Cattle, Chaparral, Dickey, Eagle Canyon, Glenmead, Hidden Trails, Marshall, Newman, and Rolling Ridge for the gift of Chromebooks for our 4th through 6th grade classrooms. Our teachers are very excited to get those in the classrooms. And finally, thank you to the parents who have completed the CVUSD parent survey. Tomorrow is the deadline, so if you haven't done so, make sure you do that tonight or tomorrow. And to the school sites who have very graciously encouraged the parents to complete those surveys. The data is really important, as I have learned this year, as we work to improve our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now at comments from the audience on items not on the agenda. Pat, are there any speakers?
7 speakers.
Speakers will be called in order the
7.
request was received. Please listen for your name and be prepared to approach the podium. Any comments on agenda items will be accepted during consideration of that item. Once the board has commenced deliberation on an issue, speaker cards will not be accepted. The board is very interested in your comments, but please bear in mind, board typically does not respond to these comments, since it is reserved specifically for public comments. Individual members may respond during board comments at the end. Additionally, the board does its best to support public's right to address its elected officials, but it is also important that board conduct its business in an orderly and fair fashion, as provided in Board Bylaw 9323. In the event that an unusual amount of speaker cards is admitted for any item, the board will hear up to 30 minutes of comments. In the case of non-agenda items, the board can, if it chooses, hear the remainder of comments after all business has been conducted. Mr. Cruz.
Yes. Speakers, you have 3 minutes to address the board. Begin when you see the green light. Yellow means you have 30 seconds left. Red light means stop. Please adjust the microphone as necessary. Audience members, please refrain from making comments while speakers are at the podium.
Speakers, please remember that in accordance with Board Bylaw 9323, bylaws of the board meeting conduct, limit remarks to 3 minutes total for all remarks. And please limit remarks to new points. The board would like to remind you that Board Policy 1312.1 contains a procedure for anyone who wishes to file a complaint against a district employee. Please follow that procedure. The first speaker is Kathy Osman, followed by Waverly Foe, followed by David Shee.
Good evening, board members and all. Computer technology is a marvelous invention and a boon to society. It is also harmful to the development of children's brains and psyches and a danger to adults as an addictive force. Cell phone addiction is listed in the Psychiatric Blue Book of illnesses alongside drugs, alcoholism, and gambling. Although only 10% of our population is definitely addicted, it is estimated that almost 90% of Americans fall in the category of overusing or abusing their devices. This is according to David Greenfield, Director of the Center for Internet and Technology Addiction. Finally, technology is a clear and present threat to democracy, offering alternative realities and opening a precarious political divide in our democracy. What the world needs is balance. We need citizens who are skilled in technology, but who also know how to use book resources to check its claims. We need people who know culture, ethics, and have perspective, due to extensive experience with books, face-to-face social encounters, and who have kept the ability to think and create and decide wisely, not just know how to find someone else's opinion on the web. Because we need balance, we need to keep screens out of early grade education for 3 reasons. Too much screen exposure is damaging to young children. Young children have a natural interest in interactive toys, of which some of these are. Balance can be achieved only if the temptation of screens is kept away from children until other interests and passions are allowed to develop, such as, and especially, the love of reading, social relationships, and attachments to animals. Just as children are not allowed to drink alcohol or take drugs, young children should not be given addicting screen devices. But some say, hey, it's not the school's business. Parents have given their babies cell phones as a babysitter, and now screens are endemic in the society. The schools just need to live with it and make the best of what society has done. Furthermore, up till now, many didn't know that repeated exposure to screens is bad for children. But now that we know, isn't it the responsibility of the schools to lead in an area affecting learning? We always tried to get children to read more, and at an early age, because we knew it affected learning. And we accept this job of being an advocate for the good in society when it comes to drugs. We have a whole week of telling kids there are better things to do than drugs, called Red Ribbon Week. And we'd never allow drugs in school. We should do the same with addictive cell phones and screens. We should spend a week warning against the dangers of cell phones and take the pledge never to use screens as a child. Sound far-fetched? There is a movement right now called Wait for Eighth, started by top Silicon Valley executives who are saying their children will not be allowed to have cell phones until age 14, or in other words, 8th grade. They urge others to take the pledge and do this along with them. They know that they make a lot of money
Thank
due
you.
to programming.
Waverly Foe, followed by David Shi, followed by Bill Bush.
Good evening, dear board members, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the community. My name is Waverly Fu. I am a parent of third graders in the Country Spring Elementary School. I am here tonight to voice my concerns for the excessive usage of the electronic devices and technologies that is happening in our elementary classroom settings. First, I would like to share 3 studies done by the different institutions to show the damages those excessive electronic devices and technologies can cause to those young brains. A study started in 2016 by the National Institution of Health of 12,000 children aging from 9 to 10 in early findings shows premature thinning of the cortex development as the result of overexposure to the screen, the part of the brain that processes the sensory and information. And the second study is done by a San Diego State researcher. Her name is Jean Twings. She published her report in the Prevention Medicine Report on October 14, 2018. Her study shows that more than 1 hour a day of screen time to the children linked to lower psychological well-being, including less curiosity and lower self-control, more distractibilities, more difficulties to make friends, make decisions, and less emotional stabilities, and being more difficult to care for and inability to finish tasks. And a third study showed by the foreign researchers, a Canadian researcher, his study shows that 4,500 children aging from 8 to 11 found out that having 2 or more hours screen time per day lead to lower achievement in memory tasks, attention, processing speed, language development, and bad eye visions, of course. And in addition, I would like to share some of my personal experiences with my own boy, 8 years old, in the 3rd grade elementary classroom. Take the math, for example. Every day, 10-15 minutes presentation on the smart board. And after that, the children in the classroom are taught to do their homework or do their classwork. My boy happens to be one of those children who don't get the questions in the first 15 minutes. So he came back home with a lot of questions. And he was very afraid to raise his hand to ask those questions because he was told his questions are not smart enough, and he was already told by the smart board. So we bought a textbook, Pearson textbook online, and I go through the questions with him every single day, page by page. In 2 or 3 months of efforts, I found out he'd be able to write down his questions, thought process on the paper, and his understanding of principle and his skills to tackle the problem developed. Thank you.
David Shi, followed by Bill Bush, followed by Chow Wen.
Well, I'm a parent too, and to continue that point, based on some of the studies that we're seeing, it looks like addiction to digital medias, while it's very good for visual memory on the kids, about 90%, the auditory memory was only about 10 to 13%, where whole sections of the kids' brains died out with nerve ending they're just misled, okay? They also read in the F curve, where they pay attention to the top left, and they don't actually read the bottom right. Furthermore, they have problem following a linear plot in literature, and they're very good at skimming, they're very good at sampling and sound bites, but the imagination power is not there. And, video game has its effects on that, but in conclusion, as teachers, what is the conclusion that teachers are drawing up? I guess the conclusion is technology is good. I know that technology is here, and our kids will have to learn it. We have to teach them the technology, but it's not that nothing could be done by the school board, okay? So on one of the, Ms. Osman, what she did instead is she had the students, my kids included, okay, put up a play. They have to memorize, understand the entire play. They have to act it out. They have to do all of that, collaborate with their members, right? And they put on the play, and that was very good. And after the entire semester, we're looking at very good results. I'm personally seeing very good progress in my kids' abilities, and she did very good. Now, we started this year, and things are changing a little bit. With the smart boards, in a nutshell, I'm desperately trying to get my kids to not read for school. I'm trying to get her to read for her own enjoyment, which I do. I'm competing with movies. It works really good when I read to her, because it's more interesting, but I can't read Harry Potter to her the way the movie does it. And now you're going to put it on your smartboard. At one point, can we get them to get their basics done first before they get all caught up in the Instagram? Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Bush, followed by Chow Wen, followed by Irene Aramus.
Hello, my name is Bill Bush, and I'm the owner and director of Tennis Anyone. The first thing I'd like to do is thank the superintendent and each of you for your commitment to the community by serving on the Board of Education. For the past 25 years, I have taught tennis to students of all ages and levels at the Ayala High School tennis courts. During this time, I've been fortunate to have had the opportunity to get to know thousands of families through the wonderful sport of tennis. From the bottom of my heart, it's something I'm truly grateful for. We have always worked hand in hand with the Chino Valley Unified School District regarding the usage of the courts. However, in August, the school district raised our tennis court rental rates by 150%, which means we go from paying $18,000 per year to paying $45,000. Whenever I mention this increase to anyone, their jaw hits the floor and they are in complete shock. My reaction has been to immediately go into defense mode on behalf of the school district. I say things like, the school district in general has been great, and they haven't raised our rent for 10 years. Both of these things are true. However, the reality of the situation then hits me. With this large of an increase all at once, we will have no choice but to cancel a large portion of our classes. My thoughts then shift to which classes we'll have to drop and how I'm going to explain to the parents and children that we won't be holding their classes. You see, for me, I'm the one on the front lines that has to look people in the eye and break the bad news to them. My thoughts next go to my coaching staff, and I wonder how I'm going to tell them that their hours are going to be cut, or even how sorry I am that I'm going to have to let them go. I get it. This seems to be the new reality. Everyone's expenses are going up, and so everyone is squeezing everyone else for an extra dollar. It's becoming finances first and people second. However, even in this scenario, the 150% increase does not create a win for anyone. It creates a lose-lose-lose situation. The community loses because they no longer have the classes their kids love. Tennis Anyone loses because we're pushed one step closer to being out of business. And the school district loses because rather than getting rental at a much higher rate, they end up with courts that are sitting empty. I want to be clear. I've never been against an increase in our rent. We want to be part of the solution in helping the district offset their costs for these facilities. I know this is a huge responsibility for all of you. All we are asking for is that an increase is reasonable or staggering the increase over time so that we can shoulder it not all at once. A solution that allows us to continue to serve you, your neighbors, and the people you love in this community. There is a win-win-win here for everyone, and I hope and pray that each board member would take the time to truly reflect on the best solution for everyone. Thank you for your consideration, and thank you for allowing me to be of service to this community.
Thank you.
Chow Wen, followed by Irene Aramus, followed by Rudy Aguilar.
Good evening, dear respected superintendent, school board members, teachers, parents, guests. My name is Chow Wen, and I am a fifth grade teacher at Chaparral Elementary School. I wanted to say thank you for sending a guest custodian to our school. 2 out of the 3 days, they did pick up the job, so our classrooms were a little cleaner for those days, so thank you. And also, I had a professional development yesterday, and I had a sub. Thank you. So I really appreciate whenever we have to be out for the classroom for our professional development that someone is there. The reason why I came today is because I wanted to speak upon the training for our guest teachers, specifically classroom management, and also behavioral and cultural sensitivity. The reason is, after I went to the PD this morning, I came back to my 32 students, and then I had to talk to 9 of my students about specific things that occurred. And I found out from them that they said, well, the sub-teacher, she was rude. And I was like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean rude? I was like, well, she told one of the students, you need to pick up a book and read and learn some English. And this was a student who, she's an English language learner, and she felt that she's not 100% American, she's not 100% Chinese. Like, it really brings down their morale and what they can do. So I have all of these behaviors that I'm familiar with: attention to deficit, sensitivity to noise, concentration. They're doing work avoidance things because that's what students do when they're trying to figure out what to do. And so I thought to myself in humble inquiry, well, what does it take for someone to talk to a child this way? I'm not going to blame the person because, fortunately for me, I have all of my marigolds. I had the Barbara Beardens of the world that I learned from. The behavioral strategies. Because the district sent me to Rick Morris training, I went to Love and Logic training. I had the instructional coaches that tell me, like, find that mystery student. I'm looking for the behavior. All of these things I learned to do. But the guest teacher, if they don't have these skills in their pocket, they come and they're like, you have a challenging class. I was like, no, me? No. Because they're used to what our teachers who are so skilled, they know what to do for the student who's like walking up and down the hallways. Here, pass out these papers, pass out these pencils. And then they're fine and they can do their work. So in the future, or as we continue along, we have continual development. If that's something that we can also offer to our substitute teachers, because on those days where somebody's out on medical leave or out on a long-term sub position, we love those sub teachers that we can count on. And as you also invest in us and our community, invest in all of that training that teachers have, please also think about our guest teachers, because they also become later, our marigolds. So thank you.
Irene Aramuth, Rudy Aguilar, and Tim Robinson.
Hi, I'm just a mom. I'm not writing anything here. I'm here for Sophia, and I'm here to back up tennis anyone. My daughter here, Sophia Aramospi, loves the sport. I finally found a sport that she loves. It's not a rough sport. It's a calm sport. And it's something that she finally found that makes her feel good and makes her feel that she's good at something. And I really do not know what's really going on here, but I hope that there is a way that you guys can still keep this and work together for not just her, because I've talked to a lot of parents, and they all say that, you know what, my kid is not that competitive. My kid's not, it's not like playing football or soccer. It's more aggressive, and she's more like tennis and golf. I kind of find that, they have something calm. Not every kid is built for every sport, and it would just be such a big loss if this program was gone, because I just feel she has her confidence back. She smiles more, and that makes me happy, and I'm very concerned as a mom. And I mean, there's times where, years where I didn't know how to make her happy, and I finally found something after school that makes her happy. I mean, she goes to tutoring, she goes to school, it's a lot for her, so at night, this is her little playground, and this is where she finds herself as a little girl, as growing up, and what she can do and she's capable of. It's hard out there for little kids right now, and I feel that this is her playground, and she can associate with a lot of other little kids. So please, I'm just, like I said, I'm sorry I didn't write anything down, but I'm here to support it, and hopefully you guys can just hear me out as a mom. Sophia, yeah, you do? Do you like your tennis? Would you be sad if it was gone? Okay, well, thank you. I guess that's enough said. Thank you so much, and you have a great night.
Thank you.
Rudy Aguilar, followed by the final speaker, Tim Robinson.
Hi, good evening. I'm here on behalf of Tennis Anyone. Good evening, everyone. Chino Hills is a gem within Southern California. What does it take to be a gem? Answer: a sports program like Tennis Anyone, setting high standards and providing a fun and instructional sports program, while being a welcome part of the fabric of the community. Chino Hills, a gem. Other sports programs elsewhere may charge more money. Other school districts elsewhere may generate higher revenue income. However, Chino Hills is special for many reasons. One of those reasons is Tennis Anyone. It provides a safe, family-friendly community coming together throughout the year to bring fulfillment and the pursuit of sporting accomplishment. Chino Hills, where good things happen, but they just don't happen without a meaningful contribution made by way of a good partnership such as Tennis Anyone. Tennis Anyone has offered affordable tennis programs to my family and many residents surrounding the school district. My son started learning tennis at Tennis Anyone. Presently, he has joined the Tennis Anyone staff as an assistant coach. He has developed his skill and is now instructing and helping other younger kids and also adults who love to learn tennis. Tennis Anyone provides instructional tennis at an affordable cost, enabling kids to participate in a wholesome sport. Even older adults join and benefit as well, increasing their physical activity and spending less time on video games, TV, phones, etc. Everyone benefits. However, if the board should increase the rental fee, it will certainly result in families having less ability to afford to participate in the Tennis Anyone program. The increased rental costs will impact everyone negatively. The Tennis Anyone program has established a highly respected reputation in the community and is a valuable asset. Many grateful individuals who support Tennis Anyone for providing affordable and quality tennis instruction will welcome your reverse decision. Thank you for not increasing the Tennis Anyone rental fee. Our community is depending on you for your cooperation in this important matter to rescind the increase. As a loyal taxpayer family, we appeal to the Board of Education to withdraw this increase or increase at a much less than your original plan. Thank you. Sincerely, Tim Robinson.
Thank you.
Rudy Aguilar.
Hi, my name is Rudy Aguilar. I've been a resident of Chino Hills since 2001. I appreciate everything that the board members do for the community and for the school district. I myself was a board member of ASO Soccer for 5 years. I coached for 14 years there. I know what it is to put the time and dedication in to make decisions and to properly run this. I was also a small business owner for 9 years before I was doing what I'm doing. And I'm here to echo what Tennis Anyone is saying. With a 150% increase in services from one year to another, that's just not smart business. I mean, when I did my service, and if I increased it 150%, I would lose all my customers. They would say, what are you crazy? What is so much better now? I see that the school is building a new department. I think it's a science department. I'm not sure. My wife is the one that takes my daughter to Tennis Anyone. But Tennis Anyone provides a service here in the area for children to learn tennis. When my older son wanted to play tennis, we saw all the private instructors at Grand Avenue, at Ayala Park, wherever it was, and we approached them. Can you teach my son to play tennis? Do they have any skills? No. This is the first time he's holding a racket. Send him to Tennis Anyone. And once he's been there a few years and he's learned to play better, then come back to me. So we were stuck. So we ended up going to Tennis Anyone. So my older son went there, my niece went there. My niece went through about 6 years of Tennis Anyone. When she went to high school, then she started playing high school level competitively. And she never would have gotten that chance. She wasn't good in like soccer or basketball or baseball or softball, but in tennis she was able to individually do well. So with the 150% increase, I feel as though Bill won't be able to continue to keep the tennis lessons going. My daughter, who's now in it, she's been doing it for 2 years. She started at the beginner level, and now she's up at Tournament Academy. She's only 12 years old. She's still 2 years away from high school, and she wants to competitively play in high school, and she wants to play in college if she gets the opportunity. And I feel as though with myself and my family, it is a sacrifice to pay the amount of money that we pay for the lessons. But I feel it's going to be money well spent because my daughter is learning a skill, and she's learning how to socially interact with other people and to be competitive in a way. So with that, I just want to say thank you for all you do. And if you can reconsider what you're doing, because like Bill said, increase it a little bit over time. Let them know. I mean, what happened in the past 10 years that you didn't see that there was a negative loss? It just makes me question how everything was being done. And I want to thank the three that replied to my email.
Thank you.
Mr. Cruz, Mr. Na, and
We are now at changes and deletions. Pat, are there any changes or deletions?
The following changes and deletions are on the agenda. Human Resources, item 3E1, certificated classified personnel items. Page 75, under certificated personnel, delete the name Lisa Amini, Special Education, Lytle Elementary School, effective November 8th, 2019. And Business Services, item 4B1, adopted 2019-2020 organized and unorganized student body budgets. Page 119, under Comprehensive High Schools, correct the third school listed, Chino High School, so that it reads Chino Hills High School.
Thank you. We're now at the action items. Pat, please announce the first item.
Item 2A1, public notice and hearing regarding the California School Employees Association, Chapter 102, initial bargaining proposal to the Chino Valley Unified School District for a reopener collective bargaining agreement effective July 1, 2018.
Recommend the Board of Education give public notice and conduct a public hearing regarding the California School Employee Association, Chapter 102, initial bargaining proposal to the Chino Valley Unified School District for a reopener collective bargaining agreement effective July 1st, 2018. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion to give public notice. Okay, Mr. Cruz, seconded by Mrs. Blair. Any comments? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
A preferential vote?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Now for the hearing. I now open the public hearing at 6:39. Do we have any speakers?
No speakers.
I now close the public hearing at 6:39 p.m. Next item.
Item 2A2, public notice and hearing regarding the district's initial bargaining proposal to the California School Employees Association and its Chino Chapter 102 for a reopener collective bargaining agreement effective July 1, 2018.
Recommend the Board of Education give public notice and conduct a public hearing regarding the district's initial bargaining proposal to the California School Employee Association and its Chino Chapter 102 for a reopener collective bargaining agreement effective July 1st, 2018. May I have a motion to give public notice?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Blair, second by Mr. Cruz. Any comments? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Preferential vote?
Aye.
Passes for 5-0. Now for the hearing. I now open the public hearing at 6:40 PM. Do we have any speakers?
No speakers.
I now close the public hearing at 6:40 PM. That concludes action items, 5-0. We're now at consent items. Pat, are there any speakers on consent items?
No speakers.
Board members, do we have any polls? Mr. Cruz,
No polls.
Mrs. Blair,
None.
Mrs. Gagne,
No polls.
Mr. Schaefer,
None.
and I have none. For the consent items, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Gagne,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Cruz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Preferential?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Now we're moving down to information items. Are there any questions? Seeing none. We're now at board members and superintendent comments. Mr. Schaefer.
Thank you. Probably first start by addressing and acknowledging the fact that I've received numerous, and I do mean numerous, emails in support of the Tennis Anyone program. And I appreciate the input from everyone. I think it's important for us to remember, though, a couple of things. One, the fees were held in place for quite a long time, for 10 years. And whether that's an oversight on the district or not, there are things that have been put in place that is going to be done on an annual basis. And so hopefully this type of thing won't happen again. But it's also important to remember that this isn't just at Ayala High School. This is district-wide at every facility that the district owns. It was important for us to take a look at the fees we were charging to make sure that we were covering the cost of renting those facilities out. This is not a business for the district. District does not make money on renting facilities out. As a public entity, we're required to charge direct cost only. So we're not making a profit on the cost of renting the facilities. This is merely a cost recovery effort. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk to anybody more about that. If you'd like to send emails or whatever or meet, I'm fine with that. But this is part of the district's responsibility, and part of my responsibility as an elected official is to make sure that the fiscal management of the district is done in a responsible manner. And for us to just recover the cost of renting a facility out is a responsible action. Moving on, tomorrow I'll be honored to attend the Howard Cattle Elementary School Veterans Day Recognition Ceremony. We'll be recognizing local veterans for their service to the country. As far as attendance, on October 19th, I attended the Baldy View ROP open house and ribbon cutting ceremony. It was a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new logistics training facility that was put together in conjunction with UPS. And so we do have logistics classes running out there now. It's set up as basically a small warehouse, similar to a distribution center that UPS would have. We do have one high school class going right now and one adult class. The adult students do pay a fee. With that fee, though, if they graduate through the program, they do have two highly sought-after certificates. One of them is a NOSHA certificate. The other is a Lean Sigma Yellow, I believe, or something along those lines. But those are two certifications that employers in the area are happy to have people come on board with because it's less training they have to provide. And we do have a partnership currently with UPS and Target, and they have both agreed to offer jobs to the top graduate of each class as long as they pass the screening process. On October 24th and 25th, I attended the West Coast Labor Management Institute Conference in Buena Park. I had the opportunity to go. It was great. I got to spend some time with our local labor leaders and also talk with local labor leaders in school setting from not just Southern California or across this country, but as far away as South Africa. And so it was a great conference, and there was a lot of information passed around. And in hearing other people and talking to other people, I'm very happy with the progress that this district has made and where we currently sit. On October 25th, I attended the Milk Can Game. Another great finish, so congratulations to Don Lugo. I attended a meeting with the Chino Community Services Department, And if you're not aware, the district has a long-standing partnership with the city of Chino in providing family services for counseling, student services for counseling, and a lot of other counseling-type services. If you're in need of them, know anybody that's in need of those types of services, please contact the district, and we'll be more than happy to get you in touch with the Community Services Department over there. But it's been a great partnership, and they do provide a lot of great services for our families and students. No committee reports. I will put out a reminder, though. Dr. Adams, who is the superintendent of Baldy View ROP, sent out an alert to all of the commissioners for ROP. And just a reminder, Baldy View ROP does not ask or allow any of its students to solicit door-to-door. Apparently, there is a scam going on, mostly in the, I believe, Claremont and Upland area. But Baldy View does not endorse, nor do they send out any students to solicit door-to-door. And as far as Chino Hills Parks and Rec, the only thing I will mention is a reminder that on Saturday, November 16th, the city will officially be dedicating the Los Serranos Park, which is adjacent to Chaparral Elementary. The event will be from 10 a.m. to noon, with the ribbon cutting and dedication ceremony starting at 10:30. That's all my comments. Thank you.
Mrs. Gagne.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank all the community members that took their time to attend our meeting this evening and share their concerns, as well as those who were not able to be here who reached out via email or phone to express concerns about their children and about the direction of the school district. I'd like to also thank our teachers and administrators who are here this evening, those who spoke and those who didn't. I appreciate you taking your time to attend our meeting. I look forward to attending many of the Veterans Day events that are happening in our district over the next week or so. I want to thank all of our teachers, administrators, staff, and students who are doing events for veterans. As someone who's worked closely with veterans to provide legal services, I can't tell you how much these types of events mean for those who served our country. So I truly appreciate that. We're doing a lot to bring these veterans in and also make sure that our children appreciate their contribution. Have a good evening.
Mrs. Blair.
I want to thank everyone who reached out to me during my medical leave. And if you've ever had chickenpox as a child, I would suggest you do your research on shingles vaccine because, yeah, you don't want to experience that. So that's my, my PSA. I do want to share or inquire of Dr. Enfield regarding the parent survey. Parents have expressed concern that they complete the survey, but that they never hear back as to the data that we collected. Have we in the past uploaded that onto the website or our Facebook page? I mean, so that it doesn't seem as though their time and effort, I'm back on, that their time and effort was all for naught. How do we get the information back to parents at the school sites?
I know we have reported it on the website, but it's also used at the school sites and through their school site council when they're building their school plans, and they use that data for the schools because it gets disaggregated back to the school sites.
But if I'm a parent not involved in school site council, how do I hear back about the data?
The school sites, but I can follow up with the schools on how we can communicate that better back to parents.
Okay, thank you. And with that, that's all I had.
Mr. Cruz.
You know, we received a lot of emails from you guys, and even though the rates were increased, you know, we observe when there is a need to change and to support our community. You know, part of my responsibility is to have a healthy community. It's to focus on families and children. I mean, that is our priority when you really think about it. In a community that believes in families and kids having great experiences in life. You know, I do support in the reduction of the fee and to make it modest, which makes perfect sense when you really think about it. You know, somebody that's, you know, thinking about what's good for the community, what's fun for kids. It makes perfect sense. It just does. So hopefully something does happen. If not, well, I apologize for it. And, you know, Kathy Osmond, there was another study that came in on November 2nd same tone of voice that you were discussing about. But with this, you need the whole entire village to work. And at the moment, we don't have that. So time only will tell as we progress how screen time and all sorts of stuff that is occurring before school starting, elementary level. And also there's also other studies that do state that technology is good, which is good. But at the moment, it's so scrambled that you're going to need some time. We're going to need some time as the study comes by that things will be more clear. So, but
about 12 studies
thank you.
in your packet tomorrow, I guess?
Thank you.
Maybe that will help.
And then I attended Chino Hills homecoming. I sat with a mom, and we were talking, and I'll tell you, number 9, your mom has faith and hope and love for you. She was telling me what a great man you're going to become, a great husband and a great father. And also she knows that you're going to be an awesome police officer. But son, I tell you, your mom loves you tremendously. It was pretty awesome to see her. So fantastic, that so loving that she just loved you playing the game. So good for you. Thank you.
Yeah, we had great speakers tonight. Thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts. Thank you, Mrs. Osman, beginning from you and then parents. I do have a major concern with kids involved with game addiction. It's a very serious matter. I walked on campuses and I see it firsthand. So there's a great concern. Yes, substitute personnel training, that's a great idea too. I have never thought about that until I had a teacher share with us tonight about her experience with her classroom and their feedbacks. Yeah, those are really important. And also, tennis anyone. Yes, you could be a private entity, but you're still, I'm thinking, serving our public as well. Looking at, I have a data here about 700 students that are going through your program and really reached out far into not only their lives, but their families too. So I really like to appreciate you and thank you. Going on business notion about raising fees from $18,000 to $45,000. And yeah, that is very incredible. I also believe we have to have fees paid because it costs us money. However, I think stagnation or going in increments makes more sense, not only for the business sense, but for our community sense, because loss will be greater. I don't want to lose 100, 200, 300 students of their opportunity to learn tennis. We spend lots of money on music, tennis, and arts for varied reasons, but for most, it's about the kids. We're making a whole students and their experience in learning are great by providing these services. So I like to really see having a greater relationship and a closer relationship with your program in serving our kids. So I'd like to ask Dr. Enfield, see if we could go down to the numbers and digest and see if we could go on a stagnated schedule, still covering our fees, but if there's any way that we could help and support our community and our children, I think we should be upfront to that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Enfield. Now, I'd like to thank my friend Mark Hargroves here. Not only you're a city councilman, you're my dear friend. I'm praying for you every day as I send you a text for your fast recovery. And I thank God for Ms. Blair's recovery too. She's well and smiling and has made us happy. With that, adjourn the meeting at 6:55.